Greetings, peace, and wisdom be upon you and with you. I have been asked to do a YouTube video explaining some facts about sovereignty, the sovereign man movement, sovereign individual movement, UCC codes, and things of that nature. And I've been asked to do this by a few individuals and friends that felt that as a sovereign I should have an obligation to speak on these things and maybe clarify for the public, or for the people, I should say. Public is a word that means fiction, and people, you, the people, we the people, definitely are not fictions. So, what I'm going to do is do my best, and I ask that you be patient with me as I try to explain a few things and bring light to the understanding that, first of all, we must understand and define words. That is what it boils down to. That is what the law is. Sovereignty, sovereign, one who is sovereign is one who has the ability to decree and make law. Sovereign, by definition, could be simply a gold coin. So again, what word are we using, and in what context, and in what interpretation are we using? So, first of all, and I get people all the time that'll say, well, you're sovereign. What is that you're better than? I immediately no. Sovereign I am no different, and people that are sovereign are not different than anyone else. I mean, even the wisest king on the walk the face of the earth, King Solomon, said in his Chronicles that even a king is born the same way out of his mother, and eventually dies the same way as a regular man. So there is no difference in mankind or superiority or inferiority, anything like that. Sovereign simply means one not subject to the jurisdiction of a government or another. This is the gift given from the, for lack of a better euphemism and colloquialism, as not to offend those, but a prime creator, also known as a deity or creator, God the Almighty. And this was given to Adam, subsequently a man and living soul, blessed living soul, to dominate and rule the earth. And thus, with the word dominion comes lordship, dominion, and dominion, dominus, sovereign, individual, whom is an individual that is free. So, with respect to understanding freedom, free man, I like to first say that I applaud everyone's reaching out to the public. I mean, that's beautiful. That's what the law is all about. The law is free for all mankind, and anything that is related to sovereignty should also be involved, or is also involving the law. I would be remiss in my duties if I was not one who did my best to explain and educate others in the law. Why? Because according to canon law, which is the oldest of all laws, canon law, eternal law, you have admiralty law, UCC, and all these others, but they're all secular to God's law. Right now, the highest law in all the globe of the earth is UCC. The admiralty law, common law, The youngest on the globe is American jurisprudence, United States. Nonetheless, law is binding, and there are three elements that people have to understand with respect to law, and this is from the judge's perspective, which I had the honor and privilege to work with a few. There are 3 points and facets to law all over the earth, regardless if it's admiralty law, if it's American jurisprudence, international law. Those 3 facets are, in fact, principle, interpretation, and jurisdiction. Principles, the principle, statutes, codes, ordinances, from days of old, including, of course, natural law, where man will not otherwise know what law was if it was not introduced to him. Hence, again, sovereignty, the sovereign law, sovereign one who makes law. Interpretation, jurisdiction, and principle. Jurisdiction is the extent of that governance, or that rule, or that reach of sovereignty. It extends to a point. In retrospect to God Almighty, the entire earth is His, as by His claim of being possessor of heaven and earth. That's His claim, not my claim, His claim. Possessor of the entire earth is His. There's no ending point of jurisdiction. However, as for man up on the earth, man is either A, the sea, the water, or man is on the land. If he's on the water, then he's under admiralty law. If he's under the land, then he's under man's law. Various man laws all across the earth, of course. Jurisdiction is defined by the boundaries and the limits. Then comes, oh boy, my favorite one to hate, and believe me, I'm quite sure almost every judge in America can appreciate the sentiment of the crazy world of interpretation when it comes to laws. Hence the term slippery slope. Abiding by those principles, sort of a checks and balances. The principles versus the jurisdiction versus how do we interpretate the principle and jurisdictions. Or it's a matter of jurisdiction and how do you interpretate that jurisdiction, be it land or water, and what principles apply. And there's the key word that I want to enlighten everyone to, the applicability. In American law, American jurisprudence, there is what is known as an IRAC, I-R-A-C-I, meaning the issue that is brought before the court. There's an issue brought before the court that is an argument. From the judge's perspective, the remedy or to solve this must be done and dealt in this formula. The issue is brought forth, complaint, petition, summons, it's brought forth. And the judge must determine, well, according to the rules, what are the rules of this incident, this issue? What are the rules? The statutes, the codes, the laws. What are the rules? And how do these rules apply? So hence the R in Iraq, IR, the rules. the applicability of those rules. You can apply a rule, for example, a law concerning vegetation and agriculture to a law concerning abortion, birthright, apples and coconuts, two different areas. So it has to apply the applicability of that rule. Then comes what is known as the conclusion. And in American law, similar to English law, common law, American jurisprudence has what is otherwise understood as statutes, codes, and opinions. These opinions also sort of become law. So, with respect to America, United States of America, it itself is law, and it goes through the due process of figuring out the right way to conclude this situation of this issue, and they determine so by what is otherwise called or known as stare decisis, or what is a prima facie case, like sort of a one-of-a-kind. And if it's one-of-a-kind, it's unique. Once it's one-of-a-kind unique, it sort of set precedents, like a guideline. And so therein lies the slippery slope between the interpretation of what has been and set in stone as guideline and variations in between based off of the opinions of the interpreter, judges. And so what I'd like to enlighten everyone too is that when you come to court, you're pleading your cases or such, or especially for those who are trying to enlighten others to the fact that yes, in 1933 the government went bankrupt, created the Social Security and birth certificate combination that created otherwise what is a trust through contract. It could be argued whether that was done legally or illegally or not, but that is not the point of my focus here. But yes, this was done, and there's a trust account in your name with your Social Security number. It's just a fact. It's true. It's out there. It's not conspiracy theorists. And by the way, a lot of these individuals that are doing pieces and clips trying to help and teach others, that's fine and all, and that's great and all, but as you do your research, please try to deliver and understand certain concepts that you're delivering and how people may receive them, and do so in a sovereign, peaceful manner. One is not sovereign unless they are peaceful and lawful. So, for example, these sovereign citizens that are going around harming individuals, cut it out. Stop it. You're making those of us who are peaceful sovereigns look bad. Where there was a clip about a father and a son team that had shot highway patrolmen, and highway patrolmen even went further back into the background, and there was an investigation, of course, and found out that there's sovereign citizen movement going on, and what does it mean, and it means that citizens, American citizens, individuals otherwise known as we the people, or realizing the interpretation, the true interpretation of the Constitution and its rights afforded to them, that would have made it, for all intent and purposes, layman's terms, would have made it where every individual that was a U.S. citizen and after the Constitution, pretty much just after the Social Security Act was made, and would have everything prepaid, accredited, and would be living the good life. And laws would only be applicable to foreigners. Somehow it got twisted to where the laws and statutes were defined as applicable only to the employees of the United States, and not to the sovereign man on the land. Before I get into all that, or the thing is that individuals are trying to explain these things. I mean, you can't be all upset and angry, or take your claim, your statement, and force it back into the face of the law, and an aggression that defeats the whole purpose. Matter of fact, sovereignty is great and all, by definition, I guess. Sovereign individuals are flesh and blood living beings like everyone else. Nothing special. No man is greater than the other, equal to, and so on and so forth. Sovereignty and its applicability to the law is only just that. Its applicability to the law. The laws of concern, i.e. being pulled over on the highway while traveling, mortgages, trusts, issues that come up and how they are seen. That's the only time it's applicable. Outside of that, one could say it's irrelevant. And definitely how I feel a lot of the times. I don't see myself as better than anyone else. Certainly not at all. And sometimes people, they see what they want to see. You ask a person, what is a sovereign, or what is a king or queen? Oh, and all they know is Queen Elizabeth and Buckingham Knights and guards and palace guards. Now, there's so many sovereigns all over the face of earth. It's not funny. Most of them would rather be kept behind closed doors and not have to deal with anything. That's what it's all about. I am peacefully dealing with just me, and I am not dealing with you. And your laws have nothing to do with me because I have no contract with you. Your laws would be applicable to me if I had a contract with you. And so that's where that lies. And the sovereign movement is going on because people are realizing that we're entered into a contract with the use of a birth certificate, by a legal title, all capital name, known as Dominus Militia Maximus, legal terminology. Anyway, so with respect to those that are passing along this information, I like to endorse a couple of individuals as I've gone through YouTube, and I watch your videos too, and I see everyone doing what they do, and can't believe I'm doing this right now, to be honest with you, but here I am because I believe greater in the cause than I do in my personal anonymity. With respect to the United States and Canada, these are the main two countries whose laws are very similar, and this legal conjecture is very synonymous through both lands. So with respect to the land of Canada, or please look up World Freeman Society and look them up on their website. They're very legit in the information that they are getting across, and I believe, like myself, are doing so in a way that is trying to be educational, and informative, non-combative, non-aggressive, peaceful. That's what a sovereign is. Also look up Dean Clifford. I believe he's one of the affiliates behind or affiliated with that. Very knowledgeable, very intelligent man, a simple man, but a very smart man, and one who just believes that man should know the truth, and that's acting within nobility. In the United States of America, or here, YouTube, look up Yeshua Elohai. That's Yeshua Elohei. Type that in. You may see a video called The Contract or so. And also type in Doug Riddle, Riddle, I believe his call sign is A Texas Cash, all one word, A Texas Cash 3502. These individuals are very knowledgeable and very articulate and well spoken in how they are delivering this sovereign movement understanding. With that being said, please understand that as I stand in a seat of neutral itinerant status, illegal status, sort of an ambassador at large status, with ministerial credentials, these are platforms in law that are just understood and are recognized in their proper seat of office, if you will, and everyone has a seat. I wanted to explain why this is important, why it is necessary that we do, while having an obligation to getting the truth out, that we do so in a means that is allowing for individuals who are otherwise coming into this knowledge to not place themselves in further harm by mouthing off at officers or not presenting their argument right. And the argument can be presented in a way that is not combative, and when it is presented in a way that is not combative, it is neither an argument or a debate, it is merely reasoning. And again, it is reasoning that you want to do in terms of the law and stating your stance and position as a sovereign. For example, in interpretation, I mentioned earlier about canon law, and the oldest of all laws, ecclesiastical law, God's law. For example, in the canons, I believe 6th edition, and I quote, "It is against the law for one who is astute and learned at the law to receive a fee for teaching others the law, as I am doing." Why? Because law is free for all mankind. How many institutions in America have broken the law before they've even begun to teach it, starting with Harvard? Hey, just being honest. And of course, and that's the slippery slope in law, but I didn't create this law. I just have a treaty and a peaceful recognition with the laws of the land, and I encourage others to do so and look for it in this faction as well, because not doing so, you're enabling, and while right and just in your cause, wrong in the fact of the aggressiveness in presenting it. I do this now because although I knew that I was born a sovereign, I'm still classified as of right now a citizen. With respect to the term sovereign citizen, because I think it's kind of oxymoron, one cannot be both a sovereign and be a citizen. Cancels each other out. Sovereign, by definition, again, one not subject to or belonging to or subject to the jurisdiction of another government. Citizen, by definition, one of and or belonging to a state or United States of America. So you cannot belong and be hence subject to and stop. So I would not be full sovereign until I disavow my American citizenship if I choose to do that. Filed my UCC statement as such, and so on and so forth. Which, by the way, do these documents correctly. And please understand your affidavits are true. How to word things, and hopefully I'll be able to go into a little bit more of this later. My website that I will be creating to offer whatever help that I can offer. But in the meantime, I offer you encouragement to continue doing what you're doing, enlighten others, so that they can be debt free. And I do this because I am following the law that I am governed by, God's law, the God of Israel, that claims the year and law of liberty. And individuals are becoming liberated with this knowledge and information that they are calling sovereignty, sovereign individuals, sovereign man movement, sovereign. And so, but I encourage you all to be free and stand free and love one another, and follow the highest rule and the golden rule, the highest rule of all, and that is do no harm. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Please be respectful to other officials of the law, but stand firm and assert your rights, because they are, as the Constitution of the United States of America protects them, implied, inherent, and inalienable God-given rights, whether you believe in God or not, but they are yours. And like Christopher Wallace said in Braveheart, it's your birthright. Stand for what is yours and do not let anyone claim what is yours. It is yours. Shalom. Walaikum salam.